Hello friends, I'm Yoga Jessie, and thanks for joining me on another BooksMoveMe yoga adventure. Today we'll be reading and moving to the book Sitting in My Box, written by D. Lilligard and illustrated by John Agee. Let's get started by warming up our bodies. Meet me on your hands and knees in table pose. Stretch your fingers wide like big number 5s. Then reach one hand forward like you're waving to someone way out in front. Say, hello. Then switch hands and wave with the other side. Hello. Then reach one foot way back, wave with your toes and say, goodbye. And switch feet, wave with the other side. Goodbye. Then come back onto your hands and knees. Arch your back, look up to the sky for cow pose, and say, moo. Then tuck your chin, look to your belly button, push your spine up towards the sky, and say, meow, in cat pose. Look to the ceiling for cow, moo. And cat, meow. And one more time, cow, moo. Then sit back on your feet and keep your hands out in front. Bounce on your feet as you say puppy pose. Pup-e pose. And then come all the way up on your hands and knees. Let's try it again. Pup-e pose. And one more time, pup-e pose. And then curl your toes under. Stretch your legs up towards the sky, coming into downward facing dog, and give me 3 big barks. Woof, woof, woof. Then come back down on your hands and knees. Sit back on your feet. Bring your fingers back towards your toes and rest your head down on the mat for mouse pose. Take a deep breath in and say, squeak, 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 squeak. Deep breath in, squeak, 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 squeak. Then that mouse is going to travel all the way up the clock to a rhyme called Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Standing tall, reach your fingers down to your toes. And then start to pat all the way up as you sing, Hickory, Dickory, Dock. The mouse went up the clock. The clock struck 1. 1 big clap. 1. The mouse said, run, Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Now crawling fingers. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. The mouse crawled up the clock. The clock struck 2. 1, 2. The mouse said, woo! Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Now brushing hands. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. The mouse brushed up the clock. The clock struck 3. 1, 2, 3. The mouse said, whee! Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Last one's a squeeze. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. The mouse squeezed up the clock. The clock struck 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The mouse said, no more. Hickory, Dickory, Dock. Meet me all the way back down in pretzel pose. And let's get ready to read. Let's start by waking up our ears. Take your fingers and start to rub right along the edge of your ears, right at the bottom. And keep rubbing and pinching your ears all the way up to the very top. We're going to wake up our ears so they're ready to listen to the story. And then when you get back down to the bottom, rub your hands together. I feel mine getting warm. And then make 2 circles with your hands. Bring those circles up to your eyes, getting our eyes ready to look at the words and the pictures. Then bring your hands down to your knees. We're going to make sure our body is calm and still by doing invisible zipper breath. Imagine you have a zipper starting at the bottom and going all the way up the front of your body. Take one hand and grab onto that invisible zipper. As you zip up towards your belly button, take a deep breath in. And then unzip. And let all the air out. Now zip up to your heart. And this time zip up to your chin. Then switch hands and zip all the way up to your nose. And now zip up to your forehead. And to the top of your head. That's called your crown. And with both hands on your zipper, zip all the way up to the sky. I think we're ready for our story. Today's story is called Sitting in My Box by D. Lilligard, pictures by John Agee. Looking at the front of this story, the cover, I see some animals. A giant elephant, a giraffe, a monkey or a baboon, also a lion and a hippopotamus. And over here I see a box with a little boy's head peeking out. Sitting in my box. What do you think this story might be about? Thinking about what a story might be about is called a prediction. Do you have any predictions for this story? Sitting in my box. I'm wondering if the boy is sitting in the box in the jungle. Let's find out. Here it shows a picture of the boy walking with that box, and it looks like he has something under his arm. And he's walking in a place that looks kind of like a neighborhood. There's a tree like I might see in my backyard, some grass, and a fence. Then we see the cover page, sitting in my box, and he's climbing into that box, and he still has that thing under his arm. Do you think that might be a book? Have you ever sat in a box and maybe pretended it was a house or a boat, a car, or maybe an airplane? Imagining things like that is lots of fun. Let's find out what happens in our story, Sitting in My Box. Sitting in my box. It looks like he's in there reading a book. And the book's cover says, Wild Animals. We saw some wild animals on the front of this story. Sitting in my box, a tall giraffe knocks. Let me in. So I move over. Let's do giraffe pose. Meet me on your hands and knees. And spread your fingers wide. Giraffes have very long necks, so let's reach one arm up to the sky and make a mouth with our hand. Munch some leaves on the trees. Then switch hands and reach the other one up high. Munch some more. Switch hands again, and this time there's an apple in the tree. Take a big bite and say, crunch! Then reach your other hand up high. Take 2 little bites because our giraffe is so full. And then our giraffe has to burp. Let's count down from 3 and say burp together. 3, 2, 1, burp. Then say, excuse me. Sitting in my box, an old gray elephant knocks. Let me in! So we both move over. Do you think an elephant and a giraffe could fit in that box? Oh my. Let's do elephant pose. Stand up and step your feet wide. Take your hands together, lacing your fingers, and let your hands hang way down low, like an elephant's trunk. Let your head hang low too. Then swing your trunk side to side, back and forth, and stop in the middle. Then let your elephant's trunk raise way up high as you take a deep breath in and let out your best elephant sound. Bring your trunk back down low. Swing it slowly side to side, back and forth. Stop in the middle. Bring your elephant trunk way up high. And let me hear your best elephant sound. Sitting in my box, a big baboon knocks. Let me in. So we all move over. A baboon is like a monkey. Let's stand up and do monkey pose. Stretch your feet wide again and bring your arms out to the side. Start to swing your hands back and forth. Take a deep breath in and let me hear your best monkey sounds. Then let's swing on a branch. Reach up high, grab onto your branch or vine, and then we're going to make a giant circle. Reach your arms out over to one side, down towards your toes, around and back up to the sky. Let's do it again, going the other direction. And this time let's say, whee! And one more time, whee! Arms come out to the side. Sitting in my box, a grumpy lion knocks. Let me in. So we all move over. I don't know, do you think a lion can fit in there too? Lion pose is one of my favorites. Start by sitting on your feet with your knees out in front. Then take your hands and make them look like claws. And bring those claws down to your knees. From here, take a deep breath in and puff out your chest like a proud lion. And then we're going to let all the air out with a giant roar. Are you ready? Let's do it. Deep breath in. Roar! Let's try it again, even louder this time. Deep breath in. Roar! Now we're going to get a little bit silly with a yoga-style lion's roar. For this one, you're going to stick out your tongue like that. And it's going to sound less like a roar and more like a blah. And we're going to make our eyes really, really wide. Sticking your tongues out, eyes nice and wide. Are you ready? Take a deep breath in. Here we go. Bah! Sitting in my box, a hippopotamus knocks. Let me in. So we all move over. Look at that hippopotamus, all full of mud. We're going to be a hippopotamus in the mud. So lay back down and bring your feet up into the air. Grab onto the insides of your feet and start to rock back and forth like you're rolling around in the mud. And say squish, squash, squish, squash, squish, squash. Then come all the way up and wipe off all that mud. standing in my box, there's no room to sit. Wait a minute. This box has too much in it. It looks pretty crowded if you ask me. Someone has to go. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Sitting in my box, along comes a flea. A flea never knocks. He just jumps right in. Let's be that flea. Sit on your feet with your knees out in front again. Bring your fingertips to your shoulders to make some wings. We're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to buzz like this little flea. Here we go. Deep breath in. Buzz. Do you feel your tongue tickling up against the back of your teeth? Let's try it again. Deep breath in. Buzz. The flea bites the hippo and the grumpy lion. He bites the baboon and the old gray elephant. He bites the tall giraffe. That's why I'm sitting in my box. Just me. He's sitting in his box with that book called Wild Animals. Do you think this story really happened? Or do you think he was using his imagination? I love using my imagination, just like the boy in the story Sitting in My Box by D. Lilligard. Thanks for joining me on this BooksMoveMe yoga adventure. See you next time!